see my love right away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, desperately searching for love so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, scanning for a trace of me so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, find my coordinates, receive my love right away. Starving from my little spot, mentally still on that cot. Elden Ring, world beautiful, but suffering from that rot. Finger licking good, eating from her bento box, fighting against the old me. Why is this the hardest op? Love a woman in uniform, happily screaming, fuck the cops. Gotta be picky, check the menu when it's time to do the E. With your thick ass thighs, talking really get the squeezing. Worth the tall vampire mama. Want me in no drama, curvy waist, kissing on your neck, hugging from behind. Would you believe me that I've crossed oceans of time to find you, just so I can love you? Full metal homunculus, that's just the greed in me. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, desperately searching for love so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, scanning for a trace of me so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, find my coordinates, receive my love right away. I ain't perfect, striving for it leaves me hurting, it's concerning. Faith in others sometimes ain't working. See, so affection, always saw you as greater than. Many men want your attention, to me they're lesser than. If they not adding to your life, subtract them then. Playing with your G-spot, getting under your skin. Before Big Bang Theory, we've never cared about fading in. Such a gentleman, gotta make sure my lady finish. Hope family of Jones, you'll be gorgeous for a minute. Would you believe me that I've crossed oceans of time to find you, just so I can love you? Full metal homunculus, that's just the greed in me. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, desperately searching for love so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, scanning for a trace of me so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, find my coordinates, receive my love right away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, desperately search for love so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, scanning for a trace of me so far away. I can feel you peeping through the stargate, find my coordinates, receive my love right away.
Hey yo, what's good, gang? It's your boy Illuminati15. You have just tuned in to DPG Gaming. You know the fucking vibes. Oh, let me correct that. You just tuned in to DPG TV. Talk that shit. You know the fucking vibes. Oh, one moment. You flipped. Hold on. I gotta edit you real quick. Form. No. Sorry. Having technical difficulties right now, gang. Give me one moment. Alright. Just what we need to flip. Bro. Yo. Bro. Get on screen. So while we flip this camera angle, right? I want you guys to tune in. Right? I'm gonna let y'all know what today's subject is about. Today's subject It's about a show. I was just chilling in my home, chilling, looking for something new to watch on TV, and then boom, bumped into this show on Netflix called Sex Life. It had a second season out. I was intrigued by the name of the show, clicked, started watching it. But as today's subject is going to revolve about around topics and situations that happened on that show. Um, and yeah, so the main subject is going to be is being emotionally invested in someone else and craving that person that you are invested into that is not your partner considered cheating. Kay, you there? Oh God. Flip your phone, please. Rotate it. There you go.
I do.
They got you right there.
Okay.
So, guys, this is my host for today. This is Nkay. Would you guys say show us some love? Nkay, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and where you're from. So
Sorry, I'm back.
I kind of spoke to you about the show, and you told me that you have seen it before, but then you recently rewatched the first season, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So today's subject, like I said earlier, and I said before, is literally is being invested in someone else, emotionally invested in someone else, and craving that person that you are emotionally invested in considered cheating.
I just
A big shout out to my boy Will. He's in the chat. Welcome to the podcast, Will. Um, so why do you feel like you disagree with that with that specific situation?
okay. So for those asking, if you haven't seen, watch it. But married, but I feel like her inner thoughts and what she's like on her laptop about her past,
Mm-hmm.
which is like
Mm-hmm.
I just and they just had it on, and it's not ever they putting it on paper. Now it's home private thing. So no, I don't feel pressed because once she was and then had that with her husband. Well, she missed her old self. She felt like I don't feel like out.
All right. So what you're trying to say is just because she didn't take physical action and she's just like in her own thoughts and in her own cravings, she's kind of comparing her past promiscuous life to the little house on the prairie life that she's living now at home with her husband and kids.
Right. Yes.
Okay, now let me ask you a question, right? If you had a man and you caught your man reminiscing about his ex-girlfriend, right? And you call him writing, whether it's in a journal, his notepad on his phone or whatever, how much he loved and missed the way that this person touched him or caressed him or treated him, would that make you feel a certain type of way?
But I would hurt, and I would also wonder why. Why? But I wouldn't already happen. Fine. Question. as I would want to. But that's about that.
Now I'm gonna have to rebuttal with you on that one, just for the simple fact that I feel like if somebody is emotionally invested in somebody else, they shouldn't, like, don't get me wrong, it's okay to miss someone, but on the level that this individual by the name of Billy, like, for her to just be going into her own train of thoughts and just be like going out of reality, because we see throughout the show that she goes into like these flashbacks of intimate moments that she had with this individual. I feel like that's honestly like very, it's disrespectful, first of all, to your marriage, and second of all, to the person that you're consistently playing their face. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hold on. Yeah, like, so it's just like, it to me is disrespectful. It's a bit degrading, just for the simple fact that I'm putting my all into this person. You know, you can clearly see that this man in the show has like giving her every fucking detail that she wanted. Like, in her past relationship, she speaks about her wanting to have a kid with this individual that she's fantasizing about now within her marriage, and their relationship falling apart after losing a baby. So it's just like, now that you have everything that you've craved in your past relationship, to me, the way that I interpreted it was more like it wasn't enough for her. Like, you could have the perfect, you could have the perfect relationship, the perfect marriage. Your husband could give you everything, but then it kind of revolves around the situation that is going on now a lot in society, where a lot of men feel like some women are just too, how do I say this? They're too picky and they just want too much, to the very point where it's like a woman is, it's almost impossible to satisfy a woman's every need. Like, a woman would never be 100% happy within a relationship.
I mean, but God, always as an age, that's cool.
Give me a second. The people in the chat's telling me they can't hear you. Hold on. Give me a second. I don't know why it's doing that on Facebook, but yeah. Um, let me just up the desktop audio all the way. All right, so continue.
Okay, so I was saying, responding directly, nobody ever 100. No, you're not. Let's try to get outside. But that sexual wild sexual and letting him bothering her because she feels it made her feel like she wasn't being herself because that was a big part of her, you know. So yeah, to answer your question, no, you're never gonna get 100% of what you want in a relationship. You never do. But she chose someone who gave her the 80% over the 20%, rather than what she was getting in every fucking floozy relationship she was in. With
See,
all these
but I have
assholes
to
where she was
rebuttal that,
only getting
because if you pay attention to the show, right, it doesn't seem that she doesn't start having these cravings till after she has her second child with her husband. So it was like everything was perfectly fine in the first quarters and the first half of their relationship with raising a child or whatever. And after giving birth to her second child is that she starts having these cravings. So it's like it had to be something in her mind or within herself that clicked that made her crave these things. But clearly she was 100% happy until she had her second kid. So it's just like, this goes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier, where it's just like a woman could be happy at that moment, but then at any other point, this person could just be like, all right, this isn't enough. But how is that fair to the partner in the situation when it's just like, I'm giving you all I got, and it's just like, it's not enough. You got the house, you got a good ass husband that works a nice paying job in the entrepreneur space, working with medical science. She felt so comfortable to the point where she could just like leave her profession, because at the beginning of the show we see that she throughout the show they explained to us that she was she was trying to put out like a collection of work that has to do with the psychology of women and their sexuality. And to a certain point, she felt comfortable enough to step away from her profession to be a mother. So it's just like, as we go throughout the show, it's just like what she thought was gonna make her happy wasn't enough for her. It had nothing to do with her relationship. It had nothing to do with her family situation at home, her husband. It was just a her thing, and then she projected it out into like her family life and her husband, to the point where her husband read her diary and kind of like try to please his woman to the max, to the point of trying to reenact that type of behavior or that type of situations that she had with her ex to just like please her, and it just wasn't enough for her. Like, that's why I feel like it's not fair to the other partner when they're under the impression that, you know, I have a good person beside me. Hold on, we got some people in the chat. Somebody said, wait, if this is about the show, let's talk about real life. Why be sneaky behind a good person? And that is a good question, because she was being sneaky. Homie spoke to her and told her, look, I don't feel comfortable with you contacting this man. I don't think that you should be talking to him or even coming around him. We've seen in the show at a certain point that they get into an argument because she finds out that dude that she's fantasizing about ends up sleeping around with her best friend. And they have this dinner, which is like, oh, look, I'm over him. And she couldn't convince her husband that she was over this dude. He storms out of the restaurant, and then she still stays at the restaurant and allows her ex to drive her home, and she allows this man into this other man's home, and even like leaves that man come around her children. So it's just like, at one point, is it just selfishness and being sneaky? Because it's like the dude laid out his boundaries, and she still consistently, time and time again, crossed those boundaries. And it's like, at a certain point, I believed like she was all about herself and she didn't care about the relationship.
Well, yes, in that sense, yes, I agree. I do agree. But, you know, when she was journaling, that, you know, which was the main topic, yeah, no, I don't consider that cheating. But she was being sneaky, and she knew that it was wrong what she was doing. She wasn't stupid, you know, but she was being selfish, and she was thinking about herself and what she wanted. So I can agree there.
So if those actions came out, as a result of her cravings and emotional investment in that other person, then that would be considered cheating, because it led her to defy her husband multiple times. Yeah, I got you thinking now, right?
Yeah, because she never made a move though. Like,
whoa. All right. For the people that's in the chat, please text right now, what is your definition of cheating? Because right now, what Norcus is telling us is that technically it wasn't cheating because she didn't make a move, or she didn't allow for things to turn sexual or intimate or physical. But I just feel like if you're investing your time into seeking out this person, contacting them over the phone after your husband tells you he don't feel comfortable with you having contact with this person, And on top of that, you still allow this man into your home after you know that your husband feels a certain type of way. That's borderline just you automatically disrespecting me and you cheating on me, period. Because you're bringing yourself intentionally around this person.
See, it's disrespectful. Yes, I agree.
Look,
I agree.
in the chat it says my boy Felix. Shout out to my boy Felix Guzman. He does a lot of advocating for males that go through domestic violence and emotional abuse. My boy said, Felix, check it out. It's on Netflix. It's a show called Sex Life. They have 2 seasons up right now. He said that's an emotional affair.
Okay.
And then one of our followers, Iris, said that's cheating, and cheating is going behind someone's back and going to see another, texting another, and living with a man but having another around. That's cheating. Seeing another when you have someone else is cheating.
Ay. Okay, guys.
So,
Hey,
like,
I mean,
what's your rebuttal to that?
I don't know if I was in that situation, if the tables were turned, I would feel disrespected, but I wouldn't feel like they cheated on me. I would just feel disrespected. That's all.
Nah, I feel like respect is something that needs to be key for a relationship to be solid. So it's just like once I feel like an individual is defying me or being sneaky, that's, to me, I wouldn't consider it cheating, but it just feels like I would feel like you're not respecting me. Now, if I set these boundaries like her husband did, right? And mind you, throughout the whole show, we have her best friend literally fighting for their relationship. She's telling you, like, what the fuck are you doing? This is like the perfect guy. He took care of you. You have kids with him. You have a happy home. What are you doing? Just let it go. And it was just like, no, this is how I'm feeling. I have to figure this out. I have to act on this. And it was just like she wasn't able to put the relationship over her own feelings. And then in the show, we do see how this affected her home life. It ended up leaking over into her kids' school. The bochinche and the rumors started within the other housewives that kids attended the school. We seen how one of the kids in the show steps up to her son and tells him, oh, we heard that your parents are gonna get divorced. So it's just like, if you're willing to go out of that and just technically fuck up the whole structure of your home, your relationship, your marriage, your parenting situation at home, then it's a pretty sticky situation. And right then and there, once it reaches to that point, I feel like it's a full-blown cheating situation. Let's go back to the chat. The chat is saying, give me a second. Felix said that's an emotional affair. Iris said respect comes a long way. If you being sneaky, you gotta go. Felix said you should do a poll on this Facebook and report back with the results. I feel even dealing with someone while you trying to build, if you're trying to build with another, I can't even trust you. And we do experience that type of behavior from her husband, because at the end we do figure out that the husband did put a GPS on her phone towards the end of the season, going into season 2, where she literally just lets go of herself, says fuck it, I want it all for myself, I'll deal with the repercussions later. And she goes, and in the first episode of season 2, which we're going to talk later on in another episode, she literally steps out of her marriage and goes sleeps with her ex-boyfriend. So it's just like the intentions were there all season 1, and then we've seen stuff blow up in season 2 when she definitely steps out of her marriage and just stops giving a fuck about everything and gives into her own cravings. So it's like at that point, every point that I'm making leads back to she had the intention to cheat. The only thing that was keeping her from cheating was the physical action, but everything else, like Felix said, that's an emotional affair.
I am stuck on that one.
Come on, we even seen Chat, check this out. There's a scene in the show where her ex is trying to literally get her jealous. He ends up pulling up to her best friend's house, which is her old apartment that she shared with her best friend. He ends up piping down her best friend on purpose, right? And then on top of that, FaceTimes her to watch him pipe shorty down. And then she just literally sits there and watches the whole thing and plays with herself, gets intimate with herself, watching this going on. That right there, it's 100% cheating. I don't care what nobody says. And I know some females could say, oh, but guys, you know, you guys watch porn, da da da. There's a big difference between watching adult entertainment, which is with a female that a lot of us guys know we can't get next to, we don't have a simple chance on earth with, than watching somebody that you've already had years of experience with, you have a past with, and then you just there just getting off on that simple act. Like, to me, there's no coming back from that.
That was kind of much when I saw that too, but
Yeah.
it was a little much. I mean, but I can, in her defense, he technically didn't know if she was actually watching.
He knew because if that was a situation, he would have never called her. He knew she was gonna watch. You gotta understand, this individual knows her kinks. He knows how to get a rise out of her. And technically, remember, before that happens, her best friend tells him, look, Billy told me it's not right, that she doesn't want me dealing with you, blah, 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 blah. It's not right. This is my best friend. We can't do this anymore. And then he still ends up seducing shorty on purpose just to like get under Billy's skin and get a reaction out of her.
Right.
So it's just like, at that point, you just too far gone.
I could see that. I could see that. Because, that part. That part was crazy.
All right, so in the chat,
Yeah,
we got more stuff. It says,
okay, well,
oh damn, we got mad stuff in here. Hold on.
oh, okay.
My boy Felix Guzman says the guy, which is her ex, he sounds like a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
Iris said, I feel even dealing with someone while you trying to build, or we read that one already. Oh no, it says while you build another, I can't even trust you, because why are you wasting my time? I don't know, there's things you do and things you don't do, which goes back to the subject of boundaries, and those boundaries were clearly set by her husband. And then Iris said again, well, I mean, the truth is, I feel a lot of things go down like that because people don't see boundaries or don't set boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. I feel like where she went wrong in her relationship, like her marriage, was that she was so used to assholes and people that gave her so little that, you know, she was willing to change or try to change for this good man. Like, she knew he was a good man. Even when she was writing these stories, she would say it. Like, she loved him. She did love him, clearly, you know, but, you know, I feel like she should have been like herself from day one. If it would have helped him knowing her little wild side, because maybe their sex life would have been way much more different.
Bro, I feel like we see that. I feel like we see that a lot in today's day, where it's like females now, when they get to a certain point of not wanting to be promiscuous anymore, they decide to settle down, and then they kind of just like cage that in. And I feel like when you get with a partner, you have to be 100% transparent. Like, excuse my choice of words, but if you was a thought in a past life, I would like to know this, because then I don't want any surprises coming out later on into the relationship or whatever. Like, I feel like if you tell me all your wrongs, there is no way that I can be surprised by somebody else, which is something that I'm really big on. I don't ever feel like I don't ever feel comfortable whenever I feel like somebody has the intentions or they have the mindset that they have a one-up. So I feel like with honesty, if a female's honest with her partner, you totally eliminate that whole situation. Like, for example, Iris is in the chat. That's my best friend. I love the relationship she has with her husband. You know, she had a promiscuous past. She doesn't hide it from anybody. But one thing I respect about her is that she's very open with her husband. You know what I'm saying? So her husband could never get hit up by somebody like, oh, haha, but that's why I did this, this, and that. And her husband would be like, okay, she told me that. So fucking what? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I feel like that's what Billie went wrong, because she kept that chapter and that part of her life. She kind of like compressed it, threw it in the back of her mind, and then painted a totally different picture when she got into a relationship with her husband.
Right. Because a woman like her who loves intimacy, a woman like her, she loves, you know, wild sex. That's a part, it became a part of who she was. It's what she enjoys doing. You know, she could have shared that with him, and maybe he could have, you know, applied that. But she didn't give him the opportunity. They continued their marriage for a really, really long time, to the point where it was boring, and she felt like she was just a housewife and a mom, and she didn't know who she was anymore.
All right, but at that point, that's her responsibility to have a conversation with her husband, and she decided not to do that. Yeah, but let's go.
But he didn't know.
Let's go back into the chat, right? We have my boy Felix. He said the ex is totally disrespecting the guy purposefully with a narcissistic smile. Probably always. As a good man, these loser ass men ruin women for the rest of us. They turn around and take advantage of a sweet, kind man because we are boring, when all we are stable and wanting healthy connection. And then Iris said, sounds like manipulation to me, if you want to be honest. And she was manipulating the situation with her husband.
Oh, okay.
And then Felix just wrote again, he said, if she felt life was boring, she should have gotten a job or volunteered somewhere. Which at any point, we saw her go back into her profession in season 2. She could have easily just did that. Or once again, she could have sat down with her husband and literally told him, look, this is how I'm feeling. I've been having these cravings, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. There's a side of me that you don't know yet. I understand we married, but I kept this to myself, blase, blase, blah. Like me, bro, like I've had my past experiences. Shit is getting boring. All right, let's get the fuck up. We go to Spencer's. What the fuck you want? Some whips, handcuffs, toys, or word, or let's go and branch out and experiment. But you have to be vocal about these things, because if not, if you keep this shit to yourself, sooner than later shit implodes. And then when situations like this blow up, it affects very heavily, and it weighs on a different scale on the relationship. Right.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right when it comes to that. She was wrong in that sense. She should have spoken up.
Iris also said up here, she said, why do women stick around men because they have kids instead of having a legit reason to be around them?
That's very true. That's very true. Trust me. I'm listen.
Yo, my chat is eating this shit up.
I love it though.
No, I love the interaction. This is why I like to stream to Facebook, because my followers always tune in and put their input. I like this aspect of the podcast. So from your point of view, now after having this conversation, do you feel like maybe you're changing your mind and whether it was cheating or not? Or do you still stand by, just because she didn't take the physical action of being intimate with this person, that she wasn't cheating?
I think, you know, I'm leaning a little towards, you know, I'm leaning towards, what's his name?
Felix?
Is it Will?
No, Felix, yeah.
The very first comment we got, where he said that it's, you know, he said it's cheating, but it's basically, like,
it's an emotional affair.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which is technically what I've been saying the whole time, that is being emotionally invested in somebody else considered cheating. So if you rock it with that, that means that me in the chat convinced you that she was cheating on her husband.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
from your point of view as a woman, what do you feel like could have been done in her position to either not soften the blow, but instead of it being negative, turn it into a positive to help the marriage and the relationship grow?
So, as you know, I've been married, so and that didn't work out, right? So, I mean, that's okay. So I think about things like that all the time. Like, how can you fix things, right? All right. So to make things better, what I would have done is I would have just probably taken him out to dinner, and just sat down with him and told him we need to have a really, really deep talk. It's not you. It's about, how I'm feeling, but I want to express this to you because it's something that's, affecting me and our marriage, and it could affect our family. And just be expressive, very gently though, but be expressive. Probably not bring up exactly the fact that she's thinking about a specific somebody, but she needs to be open about what she's thinking about, period. You know, um, and just be kind. Just be kind and, think about his feelings too when you're talking, and that's it, and try to move forward from there. Maybe get some therapy, some marriage counseling, maybe spice it up, do something, that they're both comfortable with, but that, kind of keeps her, it satisfies her, you know, um, there could have been different ways she could have actually worked with that.
Now, question, right? Because we all know that Billy, she was in college, she had her degree to be a psychiatrist. Do you feel like with her having that skill set, that her herself could have handled the situation? Because we clearly see in the show that she has this skill set that she's been put years of investing herself behind her career as a psychiatric specialist. Do you feel like she went about it, or that she could have used her skill set in psychiatrics to kind of like better her relationship? Because at certain points, I do feel like she manipulated the shit out of her husband.
Yeah, we're talking about Billy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is a very dangerous skill set to have as a female or as an individual all around the board, to know how the mind works and how to get around it. That is a very dangerous skill set to have.
It is when you're a narcissist. Absolutely. When you want things your way and you have a skill set like that, yes, you're very, very capable of using it. So,
give me a second, Norcus. Give me a second. Felix, thank you for tuning in, my brother. I love the work that you're doing. This summer, let me know if you have any more events that you're gonna have to be out. I know you wrote your book. If you want to watch this again, you can watch it on Facebook once again on my page once it's over, or you can go look it up on YouTube. Just search up DPG TV Presents Talk That Shit Podcast, and it should pop up for you, my brother. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for giving us your point of view and your opinion on the matter. He also said before I jet, the Billy's best friend ain't shit either. And my ex-girlfriend was 10 years older than me, and I was a social worker. You know my story. That's a fact.
It was nice talking to you. Thank you for the comments.
So on that note, I want to end this with everybody. First off, I want to thank you, Norkeys, for coming on with us.
You're welcome.
I asked you if you could do this, and you told me you would rewatch season 1. You did that in the past couple of days, so thank you very much. Thank you to everybody in the chat. My boy Will, my boy, my homegirl Zenny, Felix, thank you for tuning in. Iris, my sister, thank you for tuning in. Tone, thank you for tuning in. My cousin Benny, thank you for tuning in and showing us love. I love having these conversations with you guys. Talk That Shit is officially back. If you guys have any subjects that you guys want me to talk about for future episodes, don't be afraid to inbox me on Facebook. Give me your ideas. And if you guys want to be a guest, also inbox me on Facebook. I'm more than willing to bring you guys onto the podcast. I love socializing with my followers and the people that show me support on all social medias. Right now, we are on Twitch. You guys can follow me there at Illuminati15, which we gained our affiliate status back in December. You guys can also follow me on my Facebook. Right now, we standing tall at 2.8 thousand followers. And you can also show me love. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, DPG TV. Look it up. So thank you guys for tuning in. This was a lovely conversation. Hopefully, we can start doing these at least once every 2 weeks or once a week. Stay tuned for my gaming streams. I got something special for you guys coming up. I am also bringing back DPG Eat Exotics. And as the summer comes in, I will be trying my hardest to also bring back DPG toy hunts with my Funko collectibles. And I am looking forward to bringing you guys with me again this year with my sister and her husband going to Comic-Con later on in October. There's a lot going on. As you guys can see, I'm trying my hardest to make sure I get the best quality content out for you guys. So once again, thank you, Norkeys, for joining us. And we're going to see you guys later, man. Thank you for tuning in. I love you guys.